What's up? Welcome to This Week in White Supremacy. If this is your first time, it's going to be a time today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if this is your repeat viewer, you already know how we get down. We're going to come with the jokes. We're also going to have some serious political commentary. You know, I talked to somebody the other day. They was like, man, you know, I learned so much from Miracle on the show. She's
I get that.
Weird. Like, she knows so much about all the topics. And I was like, we already know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? By the way, before we get to the main attraction, I'm Jasiri X. I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And to my immediate right,
it's a miracle.
one of the 44,000 chosen black women.
First of all, how many times do I gotta play it twice? How many times?
Oh, she said she wants it.
I asked for.
She wants it twice.
For like 6. You know, some people
She has been
are
saying
bound just like to
I don't care
fail
what she
you.
asked for. This is what she's gonna get.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Excuse me, sir. It's a new day. Okay, black women are running this shit.
This is huge support
Allegedly.
Project 2025.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
According to Adolf's Twitter, Kamala's not black.
Anyhow, they call me the main attraction, but you can call me Miracle, aka Big Blessing with the Big Blessings.
Wow.
And I'm here to just bask in the glory of Tuesday.
Oh man. Yes, I know. I was like, man, Miracle is gonna be so happy.
Oh man.
I thought about getting the cake, just congratulating Miracle. But we'll get into that. My brother.
It's your boy Trevor in the Less. Never like supremacy. Next level shaman.
Yes,
you know the deal.
You know the deal. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And sir.
The full-time supervillain, part-time hater. Now I have a question.
Yes.
Should America invest in Democrats?
I see what you did there.
Well, hey, brother. I mean, your question is kind of moot right now because Kamala raised $81 million in one day. Okay.
Yeah.
She's
Who said
out
crime?
here
Who said crime doesn't pay?
Here we go. The MAGA Muslim has arrived.
Oh man.
Been waiting on this all year.
I got jokes, man. I got critiques.
I have so many thoughts.
Me too. Yeah, I have so many.
So many thoughts. And so I'll share my thoughts, and I guess, and again, so my thoughts start with, obviously, for those that don't know, Joe Biden dropped out of the race.
And according to Miracle, bullying works. Bullying works.
Unless you hear from my mouth, I never said it.
Said it so many times on this show. We can pull the receipts.
And now, you know, Vice President Kamala Harris has secured enough of the delegates that she's the Democratic nominee now for president. So my first thing was this. I haven't seen black people organized like this since the Black Panther premiere. I mean, have we seen black people, women for Kamala, Kamala forever? I mean, hey, yo, black people got busy and organized 2 calls back to back.
Right.
So that was my first thought. My first thought was like, yo, black people are fired up. Most black people.
Most black people.
Very fired up. You know, people are already coming out and giving their endorsements. So that was one. Second thought was, if Josh Shapiro becomes the vice president nominee.
Are they going to have the campaign song of Ebony and Ivory?
No, it literally becomes cops versus robbers.
Oh.
I mean,
oh, shit.
Literally.
Jesus Christ, fam.
2 prosecutors versus a 34 felony indicted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. Bro, this is
that's
crazy.
crazy.
This is crazy. It's cops versus robbers. You know what I'm saying?
That is insane, man.
And then I guess my third thought. Kamala's coming.
Oh, shit.
She's coming.
Oh, man.
My third thought is, how bad a shape is America in? That they're turning now. Because it's like a setup, right? It's like a setup. You want the black woman to come save America. Remember when before Barack Obama became president, and like the whole economy collapsed? Like America was in terrible, terrible shape. And then here comes Barack Obama. My last thought. is I'm running for president.
Are you?
Not now, obviously.
Okay.
But it seems like if you're black and want to be president, you just got to be light-skinned with an African name. I qualify.
Wow.
Sure does. He sure the fuck
I
does.
qualify.
Yo, could you
hell of a
imagine?
light
Yo,
privilege right
could you imagine what they're gonna dig up on this nigga? You're almost the reason Obama didn't get elected. Fox News ran a whole piece on you, and you almost kept Obama out the White House by yourself.
I took one picture with Obama. That shit was crazy.
This nigga almost kept us from having Obama as
One
president.
picture
by
with
his
Obama,
fucking
and that
self.
shit kind of low-key went viral. But thankfully, Obama is president. So,
And this is before Jeremiah Wright.
it's crazy. It's crazy. But Miracle, you have been on this show. I mean, basically, both feet on Biden's back, just jumping up and down on this 81-year-old man.
Yo, couch, nigga. Yo, couch.
Some could argue.
I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
led the cause
I don't know what you're talking
for
about.
Joe Biden. So when you heard
She got a voodoo doll of Joe Biden.
just throwing darts at that motherfucker every morning.
Let me tell you, I think it was like 30 seconds after that letter went out when I was in all the group chats.
You
I
were
bet.
crying, you had tears in your
I
eyes.
was like, y'all, it happened. It happened. People were like, what are you talking about? Stop lying. I'm like, it happened. It happened. It happened. And when I say I have not felt this energy since 2008, Barack Obama, people were like excited. Even before it was like a 15-minute pause between his announcement and his endorsement for Kamala.
Yes.
People were so excited. Like everybody, funders, canvassers, people who have a rule, don't ever talk about politics with me. We're like, oh my God, did you see he dropped out? Excited.
Yes.
People who don't care about politics.
Yeah.
Excited.
I almost,
Like it was just like palpable.
I almost feel like you should have remade the call. Like, we did it, Joe. we did it.
That'd have been
Listen,
hilarious.
I thought my neighbors were gonna call the cops on me because I was hooping and hollering in my house. Like it was like finally,
Wow.
it was like yelling, screaming, tears.
Yes.
Everybody was like, okay, maybe we can finally move on. So like
Yes.
there's this idea that like
Yes.
he's out. Like, and somebody said this is the first time since like the 1990s that there will not be a Clinton, a Bush, or a Biden on our ticket.
Wow.
Like this
That's
is like
kinda wild.
major. And we have literally been able to push back against the establishment in ways we have not been able to imagine. So we have been unburdened
Yes.
by what has been.
Yes.
And now we're like excited about what has to come. And yes, there's so much that has to change and needs to be changed. The people are doing all of the organizing right
Yes,
now.
correct.
But it was just like we actually did something. And in a way that like we were kind of right because we told you
Yes.
people were not happy about Biden 2 years ago and you did not listen to us. Even before October 7th, we've been telling people Biden cannot be the nominee and no one was listening to us. And so finally to have this situation where he goes and then everybody gets invested and people record voter registration, record fundraising, everybody is like on social media, in group chats, calling family and friends. The organizing is off the charts. And it's like, we could have had this a year ago. We could have had this 6 months ago. We wasted so much time. And now like we have to play catch up in these next 100 days. But like, he shouldn't have been in the first place.
I agree.
I pray that, the world he created creates the conditions for him as he remains here.
Yes.
But like, I'm happy that we now have a chance to like move beyond what we've had for so long.
Yeah, I almost want to be like, I don't know the guy's name, the TikTok dude. They'd be like, come here.
Oh, Jordan.
Jordan, or is it Justin or is it Jordan?
It's Jordan.
It's Jordan.
Like
Yeah.
older black viewers, come here.
Yeah.
Remember all them emails y'all sent us?
All that pro Biden shit. And
Look at us now. We had no other choice.
Yeah.
I guess we do now, huh?
You couldn't live with your mistakes. And guess who that brought you? Back to me. And my best Thanos impression.
Trouble. Did you have, again, now, the Trump attempted assassination took place on your birthday.
Yes.
In the middle of cake, this is as you blow out the candles. How was your thinking? Biden's out?
I was excited.
Okay.
I was excited. I was like, finally, we have an opportunity to get someone better in place. And now I'm kind of like, now that Kamala is the potential Democratic nominee, I want to see what she runs on. Yeah. I want to see if she's going to continue this I'm not Trump campaign or if she's actually going to give us something tangible.
That's a great point. And I think she has to. I think that was probably one of the other reasons that they felt they had to make this change, because everything Joe Biden was running on was an anti-Trump campaign. And because of this assassin, it's like, okay, we can't even run these mailers. We can't even do it. We don't like get the job done. That looks kind of crazy right now. And so it is a piece of like, at least we have a candidate who can like walk and talk. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
At least we don't have to worry about like, is this person going to be able to articulate? Clearly, Kamala is a lawyer, somebody that can really articulate. I think the question is what you said. What will be the policies? What is she going to run on? What is she going to make the focus of this campaign?
Yeah.
So, and then obviously there's going to be, as we move on, we're in like the honeymoon phase right now, where people are really excited. Clearly, like, obviously the Republicans have started, but they haven't. They about to get super, super grimy, and so it will be interesting to see where this goes, and if it could be like the optimism of like, when it was Barack Obama, it was optimism. It was like, yes, we can. It was like he was running to say I should be the president because of this. He wasn't running like these guys are bad. You know what I'm saying? And so it'll be interesting to see if Kamala can adopt that same like optimism.
Yeah.
And not just Trump is bad.
And this could be historic. She could be the first Black woman president.
A woman president.
Yeah, period.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Asian part either.
What'd you say?
Don't forget the Asian part.
Yes,
Facts.
yes.
Yeah.
South Asians. Well, and again, like Kamala has already gone. She's already achieved the highest level of politics that any a woman in United States history has achieved, becoming vice president.
Right.
So to become president, all of these, glass ceilings get cracked and broken down. And so that would be interesting to see. Farouk.
So the first thing I actually thought about was because there were, for the few days leading into Biden actually bowing out, there were rumors and there was murmurs that he was going to.
Yes.
There was like tweets. There was, people, unnamed sources were saying he was going to bow out.
It kept reminding me of like, remember that scene in Rocky where she was like, you can't win. Like Nancy Pelosi, like, you can't win. They're like, and him like,
against Drago, yeah.
No, I can do it.
Yeah. And then, so the thing that I immediately thought about was what the debate was going to look like, because I was like, yo,
yeah.
Kamala is not with the shits. Like, she's not going to be a pushover on the stage like Joe Biden is. So yeah, and then I immediately text Miracle, where I text our group chat and was like, bullying works. You know what I mean? Like I thought it was like, okay, Miracle has her gratification right now, but this is something that you and I were vocal on. Miracle's been the most outspoken. Treble's been outspoken on. We've all encouraged and pleaded and joked and probably aggressively asserted that Biden needs to step away.
Yes,
and the fact that it took this long was unfortunate. But I guess the bittersweet aspect of it is, we get to shake the Etch-a-Sketch now. The Democratic Party can kind of look at this and say, okay, we have 100 days. What can we do? Who's going to be the VP nod? It's probably going to be Shapiro.
We hope.
But Miracle said there's a few polls where he's the number one, right?
I think that he makes a good, obviously Pennsylvania's a swing state.
Yeah.
He won Pennsylvania by a landslide. And again, like, clearly the vice president is going to be a white man. I think that's pretty clear right now. And so to me, Shapiro,
that would be like a crazy 1-2 punch.
That would
Shapiro and Harris.
Right.
Harris and Shapiro.
Right.
And with him being the first Jewish vice president?
Correct.
That would be crazy.
And there's also like the governor of North Carolina is a possibility.
Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom's a possibility. They said a senator of Arizona is a possibility. So it'll be interesting. All of these are these swing states that, could not, go in the favorites.
What if they threw it to me to be the vice president?
But what's interesting that you said about the debate is because Trump is already
he's already like
seeming like he's gonna pull out
because he don't want the smoke,
and he's accusing ABC of being biased.
Yeah.
And so he said he just tweeted or truth, whatever he does. ABC fake news is such a joke among the absolute worst in the business. They try to make Crooked Joe into a brave warrior because he didn't have the guts to fight it out. He quit. You know what I'm saying? And so he's already kind of setting up like he does, right?
Yeah.
He sets up the excuses. If Harris goes out and eviscerates this dude in the debate, he's already set up those excuses. You talked about your feelings of Biden resigning. What are your feelings as like a black woman? I mean, you're a lawyer. You're a black woman. You're a lawyer.
No, Prosecutor Harris in a debate, she's winning, right?
Yes.
What were your thoughts of like a historic?
You trying to bait me into a conversation? Stop it, Farouk.
I just
You
wanted
trying to
know
bait me into a conversation.
what your thoughts were, Amir.
I will say
a
that a
podcast,
lot of black women
That's what we do.
been really happy that Kamala has been the nominee. And so
Yes.
for a little background, there was rumors that somebody else was going to be the
Yes.
nominee, that the DNC was going to have an open convention. And the Win with Black Women campaign said, no. She is the vice president. She deserves a chance to earn this nomination. She needs to be endorsed. And that was where the call came from, to rally behind her, to call the delegates, to get people to back her and have a unified front going into the DNC convention.
Yes.
Because the rules state that at the convention, you can vote and you can get a new nominee at the convention.
Yes.
Especially if the delegates are up for grabs. And so a lot of black women were very happy that they were able to rally together within a number of hours, like within 6 hours, to have this call. Mind you, this call happens all the time. It's about just like black women running campaigns and how to engage and support each other. But it turned into supporting the Harris nomination and talking about what is her policies going to be? What is her policies on Gaza, on Palestine? What is her policies on a living wage? What is her policies on labor? A lot of things. And so you saw that in her speech, she talked a lot about like the future, the livability, the health care, the paid leave, the working conditions. That is all part of a domestic strategy that black women have been fighting for years. And so out of that call, like we were talking about how great it was in this moment, that it was historic, that we were coming together unified to talk about what the possibilities could be, even though we had disagreements. And I think that's something that's very important, because we talked about on that call and all these other calls. Well, we didn't talk about, I wasn't on the call like that, but people were talking about, even though we have disagreements, it's important to move on and to carry and support. And granted, a lot of the call has been leaked, and the black men had their call and had similar conversations as well. And I think it's very important because, as Farouk says, blackness is universal. Our experiences are not. There are those of us who are wanting more from this administration. There are those of us who've been impacted by policy. So we're going to have a different view and mindset and different demands of this administration. There are those of us who maybe not even be on board with this administration and maybe voting for like the other people, but we're still there trying to sit there and say, what is our plan and strategy as black women for black women going forward?
Yes.
And other down ballot races. And what does it mean to have maternal health on the ballot? What does it mean to have working families on the ballot? What does it mean to finally have something about clean air, clean water, removing the lead on the ballot?
Yeah.
And how do we put our issues at the middle, including student loan debt, including medical debt? And so it was great. For me, I like being a part of the call to see the vast array of black women. And I like people getting to see the diversity of black women and intergenerational women. And you saw a lot of black women talking about, I've left politics. I've even said that before, like, this is my last year in politics. Right. A lot of us have left and been burnt out and pushed out, and to see the excitement come back to say, okay, maybe we can make a difference, and maybe our past work hasn't been for naught. Maybe we can make this country something that we have never seen before. I think that part was great to see.
That is powerful. And then not to be outdone, the brothers came together and raised over $1 million, you know what I'm saying? And like win with black men or win with black women. So it was fascinating, again, like I said, to see that level of excitement, people organizing like right out the gate. We'll see if it lasts, in her first time on the mic as president nominee, Kamala turned her sights to Donald Trump. And this is what she had to say.
Many of you know, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. Before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers.
Oh, shit.
Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain.
Come on.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his.
That I know Donald Trump's type was similar to Kendrick's A minor.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
For political,
it really was. It really was.
For political comparison. And a lot of people like that, right? Because it shows that you can go after Trump and not do the mudslinging and do the facts, right? That was everything based off facts. It wasn't like, he's ugly, he's stupid, he's mean. Yeah. It was like, this is what I can do for the party, and this is why, and this is why we're going to fight. And so a lot of people really liked that line, and a lot of Republicans were like, you can see they've been grasping at straws with trying to attack her, and it's going to be very interesting.
So as far as, again, you're absolutely 100% correct about Kamala's points, because she is spitting facts, right? He's a convicted felon. He's also somebody that was, found liable for sexual assault, which he has to pay millions of dollars for. Trump University or whatever, or what's the case in New York where he was inflating the value of Mar-a-Lago and all that stuff? He has to pay millions of dollars. So he is a fraudster. He is a cheater. He is a predator, literally by the courts of the United States. You know what I'm saying? But he is also now, you got the old candidate now. Oh, the tables have turned now. Yeah. Now his age comes into question, right? Yeah. His health comes into question. They said as president, Donald Trump released a report that experts said shows he had heart disease and was obese, but as a candidate, he's refused to release blood work results, his weight, or other key information. Mind you, this is somebody that just got shot at. Right? And according to him, he said he was hit by a bullet in his ear, but he went to the hospital. They said after you get shot, it's all of these things that take place psychologically, neurologically, particularly someplace close to your brain, that he was shot. They said he got a CT scan. We have not got any of that documentation. We don't know how this affected him. We saw him rambling on and on and on at the RNC. They said his speech, where everybody turns in to see this like great speech, was a big letdown. And so I think now it's interesting. Now all that old Sleepy Joe, and this man was literally asleep at the RNC. Yeah. So like crooked, sleepy, all of that now goes into your candidate. So like, what did the Republicans do now?
I think that, it seems like they're already, specifically J.D. Vance, they're trying to come at the validity of Kamala's career.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's going to be the only platform that they have, is running with the DEI narrative that she's, that she's affirmative action president, whatever, like, whatever they say. And I think this is the first time that they really have to bunker down and come up with a legitimate strategy and say, hey, Trump, you got to bring your fucking A game. Like we
can he though? He's 78 years old.
I doubt that he can.
But dude has been pilled up. I mean, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, he's really got his work cut out for him.
Definitely.
I mean, whether this part of my, I guess, monologue isn't whether you're supporting of Kamala or not, but like, she's an infinitely more qualified candidate that Donald Trump is for any political office. It doesn't matter what it is. Fucking crossing guard, mayor, prefect.
Well, it's like now whatever. Donald Trump becomes the oldest nominee
ever
for president ever. Right? Yeah. He's the oldest now.
And he's coming against somebody.
Wow.
Is he now?
He's doing what?
Is he? What is he doing?
I mean, he has before. He's going
In
against
fact, I
somebody
think he
that
got 34 felonies.
Jesus Christ.
Coming to get somebody.
Woo! Jeez.
What were you saying, bro?
You know what? When they cancel our show, I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm like, okay, I get it.
I wasn't even trying to go that
Like,
way.
It's understandable.
Man, Trump is now against somebody who is not only a threat to him politically,
Yes.
and can just come like tear everything down, but can embarrass him.
Right.
She's gonna when and if they debate,
Yes.
she's gonna come up there like and do whatever the fuck she wants in that debate.
And this is the wild part because now, like, all like the black Trumpers are like, oh
yeah.
because we know
Yeah.
the racism. I mean, you just like you said, you mentioned JD Vance, and JD Vance's statement was, Kamala has been getting government checks for the past 20 years.
We can play what he said.
Play what he said. Play what he said. This is JD Vance, the vice presidential nominee on the Republican side.
Our likely opponent, Kamala Harris, because, she said a couple of days ago that I showed no loyalty to the United States, that I have no loyalty to the United States.
That's true.
The people in this crowd. You a black woman?
Well, I don't know Kamala. I served in the United States Marine Corps and I built a business. What the hell have you done other than collect a government check for the past 20 years?
So again, I mean, that's clearly collecting a government
You
check
have a black job.
as a black woman, right? Is like, clearly we know what you're trying to say. And we know that they're going to, I mean, I forget who said, but there was a tweet going around that was kind of like black women, like, prepare yourself.
Yeah.
Because that they're going to come out with all of the tropes, all of the racism directed at her. And then they're going to trot Amber Rose or whatever these other black surrogates out to pretend or tell us that
I already know
racism.
Candace Owens, and like she's going to have so much. Didn't she already say some dumb shit?
You know what? I don't listen to her. I don't.
Yeah,
really
I
think
seen
about,
someone posted it.
I'm sure that again, it's been a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been so. It's like, is she not black or is she black? And all of these tropes, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. They're already like, oh, she got a white husband. I mean, she's not black. You know what I'm saying? It's already all of these things kind of coming out, and so we know that it's going to be. Particularly, because she's a woman and a woman of color at that, we know it's going to be race. So it's going to be fascinating to see these like black Trumpers try to tightrope because, they're going to be the ones to probably hurl the most damaging stuff at Kamala.
Oh, 1,000%.
You want to bring the black people out to attack the other black person. And so Gums and all the rest of them are going to come out and probably say really, really wild stuff. And so we're just at the beginning of this, and it's going to be really, really fascinating to see.
This is actually like some dystopian idea of a civil war because you have these black Republicans who are going to be, like you said, talking so much shit about a black woman running for president.
Yes.
And you're really going to have like one of the most divisive black elections of all time over this.
Well, did you say civil war? Ironically, you are not the only one to say civil war because at a rally for JD Vance, a state senator in Ohio named George Lang, who was one of the warm-up speakers, also talked about a civil war.
Trump and Butler County's JD Vance are the last chance to save our country politically. I'm afraid if we lose this one, it's going to take a civil war to save the country, and it will be saved. It's the greatest experiment in the history of mankind. And if we come down to a civil war, I'm glad we got people like Schmitty and the Bikers for Trump on our side.
And they're cheering again. This is the second time.
I thought we didn't have space for political violence.
Again, I mean,
I thought that was something we weren't encouraging was political violence.
Exactly.
But here we are, a week removed from Trump's failed assassination attempt.
Yes.
And you have a Republican senator asking for political violence.
Yes. And the wild part is this is the second time. Remember, the guy from the Heritage Foundation. One of the reasons that Project 2025 kind of blew up in terms of what people knowing about it was because the president of the Heritage Foundation said that this is a second civil war. And he was like, it'll be bloodless if the left allows us to do what we got to do. It'll be bloodless. So now here's another Republican coming out and saying, if we lose this election, then it's going to take a civil, like literally, and we are, come on, man. And so part of it is, and I want to come to you, Miracle in Trouble. Part of this is we saw what happened on January 6th, right? If Trump loses, and in many states, he's losing right now.
Yeah.
The polls just came out, he's losing. Should we be preparing for white people to just go crazy and violent and be violent in our community like we saw them go crazy, particularly these white supremacist Republicans, like we saw them go crazy in January 6th?
I think so. And I think while we've been kind of watching everything happening on the political stage,
yes,
I can only imagine what they're doing behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Because January 6th, we know that wasn't just a random thing that happened. We know that they've been planning that. They had been planning that for some time before it happened.
Yes.
So I can only imagine what they're planning to do this time around if Trump doesn't win.
Yeah. Miracle, I know that there has been some concerns already about safety and security.
America is a violent country, so
yes,
you're always going to have to expect violence when it comes down to us, to be honest. But I don't think so. And here's why. The ramification of Kamala Harris is what you're going to see in the next 2 months. And it's always Black women save us, Black women save us, Black women saving democracy. And so for a lot of people who hate to admit that under Obama they benefited, the policies under Obama, they got better domestically, to be very clear.
Yes.
Domestically better. A lot of white people secretly are wanting Kamala or some other Black or brown person to come clean up their mess.
True.
And make this country great for them.
Yes.
So then the next election they'll take it over. You're starting to see this pattern.
Correct.
Of you put out Black and brown people to have these radical ideas, and then once those ideas become popular, you then get a white face to go and push those ideas and sanitize those ideas. That's what's coming really within our political sphere. We see a lot of times it's like Rashida and Summer and Corey saying all of these things that need to happen, and 6 months later that's the national most liked platform.
True.
But we needed a Black face to say it first. We needed a brown face to be the victim and be the sacrificial lamb first. Test it out. Once it's proved, then a white person can come and say the same thing. And so I don't see the violence as like a civil war. I see like one or two people doing like what they did after September 11th was like couple of people get hurt, a couple of skirmishes, but I don't see a widespread civil war because you forget gay people have guns, trans people have guns, Black people everybody has guns these days. Like everybody has like full on arsenals.
Is that good or?
I'm a non-gun person. I don't like guns.
Everybody have guns doesn't mean that's the opposite of what you were saying.
But everybody really has guns. And if you really think that you're going to do a January 6th on Kamala, you really think that you're going to be able to pull a January 6th knowing that there's going to be thousands of Black men in D.C. ready to defend her? You really think they're going to pull another January 6th? You may even have the Israelites out there fighting for Kamala if you do that. Like, no, they're not dumb, right? And I think even yesterday you've seen so many Black men show up and defend her. Like, they're not dumb. You're not going to see that. And I think what you're starting to see now is people are like also exhausted by the violence. And could be like their way out. Nobody wants to take it as someone who's gone to therapy. Nobody wants to be angry all the time. Nobody wants to be in fear and fight mode all of the time. And I think that Kamala gives people, and the message she talked about, gives people that hope. And it also allows people to build this big tent party and really move on. People haven't been able to really move on from these far right Republicans, and she can basically like, look, let's just move on. And I think it was Nikki Haley.
Yes.
She's the one who said the party that wins is the party that gets rid of their senior citizens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this, again, this is not ageism. It's like people are just like tired with this stagnant good old boy system where we can't navigate and talk about issues and figure out a different strategy. I think people like that. You saw China announced that they have gotten all of the Palestinian factions together, right? And everybody's like, well, why couldn't America do that? You see like South and Latin America talking about they're doing their own infrastructure. You see the North African bloc talking about they're going to be doing their own investment, their own infrastructure. The world is changing, and we need to really reflect the changes of the world. And we kind of need younger, newer people who are more connected, who have more of a multicultural globalist perspective to be in office. And she could be that. She's not that right now, but like she could be that.
Yeah, I mean, again, and you have that Nikki Haley clip. Nikki Haley actually now coming across as like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was funny because, you know, Ted Cruz was really shitting on her at the RNC with his commentary about her being disingenuous and her support for Trump, that, you know, this is her being two-faced and backbiting, and that he can't trust her. She has no allegiance to the Republican Party. She only has allegiance to herself. But I think Nikki Haley was probably, which is crazy to say what I'm about to, probably the voice of reason coming out of the Republican Party.
I mean, when Trump is the other guy, I mean, it's kind of easy
really,
to be the voice of reason.
But this is what Nikki Haley said in January of 2024, just a few short months ago. God damn, this has been a hell of a year.
It's been a wild year.
Let's speak some hard truths. If Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee, we will get a President Kamala Harris. You mark my words. He cannot win a general election. Look at Iowa, look at New Hampshire. He can't get independents. He can't get suburban women. He's losing Republicans who say they don't want him and will vote for someone else. It's a problem.
I mean,
that, and from the mouth of babes, like really, like that's the one thing that we've been saying on here, and people who, you know, like to think that they know a lot about politics can't read a fucking poll or know how any of this shit works.
Yes.
When was the last time Trump won the general popular vote?
I mean, he didn't.
He never.
He didn't win the general popular vote against Hillary.
Nope.
He didn't, you know.
I think he lost by cumulatively 7 million votes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, and it was the Electoral College that put Trump in the first time.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And the second time he lost and claimed it was a rigged system and everything like that. But Nikki Haley has said the very true thing. Trump cannot galvanize independence. Most of the Republicans don't want him there. And if you watch the RNC, you've seen how cringy it was. Everybody kind of come up there in their Game of Thrones moments, bending the knee to Donald Trump, who was looking around disapprovingly like Walter Frey. And it was just like, yo, it's like none of this shit seemed real. It all seemed scripted. And it just further emphasized the point of what Nikki Haley is saying is like, he's not going to get these suburbanites. He's not going to get these.
Well, I think I hear her, but then I think like white supremacy and racism.
Yeah,
so crazy.
I think he gets the men. I think he gets the men.
Oh yeah, but I mean, again, like if he gets the white men and the white women in some of these places, I mean, because really it's Wisconsin, it's Pennsylvania, it's Arizona, it's Ohio. You know, it's like these places where they have these slim margins. If folks just vote out of their racism, right?
Yeah.
These white men and these white women, or maybe they go and like you said, maybe they're fed up. Maybe they're like, I mean, again, like a 78-year-old Donald Trump, who is already like losing his facilities, going in with like the power of a monarch seems like really, I mean, come on, America, please. Lord, America, come on, man.
Miracle, do you think Kamala
America, come here. Come here, America. Come here. You can't do this.
You think Kamala runs more center-left as opposed to left?
I think they all do.
Left.
Yeah. I mean, she's not progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
she's not progressive.
Like,
I mean,
we're doing like Republican, Democrat, left. That.
Yeah. Like, do you think she like more like where CNN is leaning towards now?
She's gonna. I mean, I think
you would say she's more moderate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Left wouldn't even be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, this was also news that recently came out. Guess who else supported Kamala Harris?
Charlemagne.
Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. He cut a check.
2014, Donald Trump himself donated to Kamala Harris's campaign.
I wonder what he's going to say about that.
I mean,
he used to be a Democrat.
That's very true.
Yeah,
very true.
Yeah.
He switched parties, yeah.
Oh, this was the quote. It says, at that time, some 15 years ago, President Trump was a global businessman and knew how to play the game and win the game with corrupt politicians like Kamala Harris.
There you go.
Now he's going to finish the job of throwing all these crooked politicians out of the office. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Does it? You were going to say something, Miracle, and then I have another question for you. Do you want me to go to my question?
Sure.
Okay, so, there was a video that was leaked, right, that showed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on a call with Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Post Donald Trump getting shot at. Donald Trump was basically saying to him, you need to endorse me. Mm-hmm. And that I guess the quid pro quo, whatever it was, that Kennedy would get some type of role inside of the Trump's White House. In light of now Kamala coming, raising all this money, all this excitement, does it make sense?
No, because Kennedy has a verifiable sexual assault allegation against him, and said
that makes him like,
hold on, wait,
right next to Trump.
And said that there could be more coming out because he never claimed to be a schoolboy or a good boy or whatever the term was.
He kept it a G. Yeah.
So no, right? The last thing you need when you're going up against a prosecutor and a woman is for someone to be an actual sexual predator.
Yeah.
Because
Donald Trump.
Like your VP, right? Because Donald Trump was like, you're powerful. You don't want someone who's actually done violent, credible allegations of sexual assault.
Yes.
I think one was with a babysitter, right? Because you're trying to appeal to working moms and family people. Family people need to believe you're going to protect them, not that you're going to prey on them.
Yes.
If you have an actual active predator who's unapologetic about it, with wormholes in his brain, it's probably not going to be the best for your ticket, right?
Definitely.
No, again,
well, not necessarily on the ticket, but if Kennedy has built up this kind of group of folks that support him as an independent, then he throws his weight behind Trump.
No, I think that I think the Kennedy people were independents, and I don't think Trump is going to appeal to them. Right. And so that was the whole thing about Kennedy. He was supposed to be different. He wasn't supposed to be this person. And so him doing that, it basically kind of fractures his base. I think there'll maybe like a 1 or 2 point boost for Trump. But I think depending on who Kamala picks as VP, there's going to be so much energy and so many people galvanized for her that Trump is really going to be having to hit her on policy.
No,
I know that
go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're going to be focused on the border, and the border crisis, and trying to attach that to Kamala. So we'll see if that will stick.
Now I seen that Beyonce lent the song "Freedom" to Kamala, but does she have
standing on business and helping the community?
Community service. Kamala. Yeah, the rappers got to get in the studio for Kamala, man.
Yeah, man.
I have been very
What if it be
disappointed.
common for Kamala?
Oh, I mean,
I do think, again, because of what's going on in Palestine, the arts community has not been as involved in the political issues, right? Because if this was 2008, you've had so many songs, so many endorsements, so many slogans, so many people, even just on 2020, you had artists doing those little sing-alongs in their bedrooms, right? So I do think that Beyonce lending her song and everybody getting galvanized, you're going to see a lot more songs and artists getting involved. And I think that has been the tension of why haven't you been involved for the past few months?
Yeah.
But you're going to see more people okay, things are changing now. We have an opportunity to make actual headway now. And again, it's not Trump. Biden is supposed to talk on Wednesday. There's a lot of conversation about, his capabilities. Will he even still remain president? What's going to happen? And so I think it's going to be very good. I would hope that if he resigns on Wednesday, it would be a boost for Harris, because then you would already have her as the president.
Right,
So
yeah.
nobody would have to be like, oh, they're going to kill her because she's the first. It would just be like a smooth transition, because we already have a succession plan.
Right.
Shout out to the founders and the framers and, our originals, people out
I didn't
there
know that
voting.
was on the table, that he was potentially going to resign on Wednesday.
I don't think it's on the table. People have been saying that. There was that one Republican congressperson, I think their last name was Mace, so they were going to put in the 25th articles of impeachment to say that he's not able to be president or to serve as president.
Right.
Obviously, I don't think they were submitted. So that it's still percolating in the environment that he could possibly.
What, in your professional opinion, what do you think the percentage is that Biden?
I think it's low, but if I were him, I would just go ahead and do it, because then she's the president, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then people are already used to her being the president.
That's a great point.
It already lets her, all these policies that people are very upset about, especially with international issues, she can make a change, and it's like a clean sweep. So then people are like, okay, she's already there.
So
she's
is
the
this-
nominee, she's the incumbent, it makes it easy.
Is this your endorsement for Kamala Harris?
No.
Or-
I don't endorse people who don't stop genocides.
Or-
So that's my thing,
That's
my
your hard
personal thing. I want someone, I really want her this week or next week to actually have a better plan and do
For
so.
Palestine?
Not even supporting the embargo, but doing something of that nature, because I don't think it is safe for us to keep doing this. I think each day this goes by, not only are more people dying, but we are putting ourselves up for revenge attacks, and it's going to make our own stability and our own infrastructure at risk.
What?
Even the State Department said it themselves that the longer this goes on, the more likely there are going to be multiple terrorist attacks. So if she could be the face to stop it, as opposed to having the two black people at the UN being the black face that allowed this to continue on, I would love that very much.
Or does it make sense, or more sense, Miracle, that if Joe Biden now, he doesn't have to campaign. Now, he did come out and say he was going to be on the campaign trail supporting Kamala, that he was going to help her in her campaign, but he doesn't have to be, so he can do all of these things that might be considered unpopular, right? Because he's the president now, so
Yeah.
he
I
can.
think he cares. Never mind.
Do I think what?
I think he cares enough to basically he can do whatever he could. Ever
Well, I'm
since
saying,
that Supreme Court ruling.
But now that's what I'm saying. Now he doesn't have to worry about how it plays in Middle America or how it plays at this poll or this poll. He can kind of go ahead and do all he has to do. He can do those executive orders. He can stop some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He
what
can maybe
did
follow
MLK
up
say
on-
about the white moderate?
Yeah.
Literally,
They're the
the
biggest
white
enemy,
moderate
yeah.
right there is Biden's face. The
Yeah.
procedure, the process, the rules. The first thing Biden said was, I will not use this rule that the Supreme Court has given me. Chuck Schumer came out 2 years ago and said Biden can cancel $50,000 worth of debt for every single person with student loans. Biden has refused. He said procedures.
But what
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
is-
I just don't,
Did
I don't
he
think he
maybe
wants to.
Did he say that because he was
believes
running
it.
for election? Maybe now. I mean, because wouldn't that be the game plan to say, okay, all these unpopular decisions or what could be deemed? A lot of times, like you said, I remember when Bill Clinton came to Pittsburgh to talk about healthcare. Before what would be known as, it's what was it?
Obamacare.
Yeah,
We
the
don't-
Affordable
it's
Health
Affordable
Care.
Care.
Affordable Health Care Act, right, which was called Obamacare. He said it's unpopular now, but he said if you just get it passed, people will really appreciate it. And once it got passed, people who never got health care or had access to health care, it became a popular part of policies in America. So now these maybe possibly things that on the surface might look unpopular, but if passed will really help people, help some of these constituents. Biden can now do that because he don't have to worry about going on the tour. I'm just so happy that this man don't have to do another interview.
Well, you know what
where
the
like
question-
all the stakes, every single interview with Biden, all the stakes were on the line. Let's just imagine how much anxiety,
Yeah, the pressure. Mhm.
that this man had. I'm so happy that he don't have to worry about that anymore. He can just go get some rest.
I wonder what the conversation was like. Who actually was the one who talked him into?
I think it went like this. You can't win.
No, but I do think
who was it that actually talked this nigga off the
But
ledge?
getting COVID-19 again,
Yeah.
right? It breaks your body down.
Yeah.
he was already dealing with so many issues based on the fact
Namely
that he had stop.
ancient.
Namely that he already had a speaking disability and COVID.
He does?
Yes, he was. That's why he had the stutter and all type of stuff.
You just knowing it?
I just thought this is how he taught. I didn't know he had like a stammer.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Like,
definitely. His whole
even
life.
for me, because I was born tight-tongued, I also had a stutter. And I know, like, the brain fog that I got from when I had COVID, it took a minute for things to get back now. And even now, my time went from like 2 minutes, like 30 seconds to recall things, right? So, like, I just think that he became too impaired to be able to do these speeches, to ever do these interviews, to make these snap judgments. And he was like, I just can't do it anymore.
Do you think it was Jill? Was it doctors? Was it Kamala?
I think it was. I
George
think it
Clooney?
was Jill. I think it was also the internal polling had him not only losing, but
You know what? Give me your phone. Let me check your text messages.
Miracle was sending his man.
How many phone numbers?
Could you imagine what Miracle's Finsta looks like? I mean, it's just all
That's what I'm
white.
saying, yo,
I think
Miracle
it's also-
Finsta is crazy,
It's
right?
crazy.
it's also Congresswoman Sheila Lee passing.
You
know,
Art, rest in peace.
you know, both of our Pennsylvania senators have health issues.
True.
Right? A lot of people are talking about, like, why are people literally working themselves to death when they can literally be mentoring and bringing up a new crop of
Because
candidates?
America. That's
Stop.
America.
Bring up a new crop of candidates. And so I do think that's this idea of, like, do you really want to work yourself to death?
Yeah.
Or do you want to enjoy what little bit of life that you have left?
I mean, there's really nothing more American than working yourself
You
to
know,
death.
and I
That
just-
is true, sadly.
But you have
Sad, but true.
children, you have grandchildren, you have like all stuff to like to travel. Like, look at the Obamas. The Obamas have like went on their retirement.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
we
double
tried.
back their money.
We tried to get Michelle in there. Michelle was like, I ain't doing
like,
it.
Yo, Michelle was like, and I quote, "Nigga, please."
Yes.
You know, I do think that like there has to be for politicians a life after politics. And there needs to be term limits. We need a whole bunch of stuff to happen. Term limits, campaign finance, a whole different things. But
Age
I just think
limits.
we just gotta move on. We just gotta move on and like hopefully have a better life for so many of us.
Now, and fortunately, it's still America, right? And the deep part about how America, and this is kind of how America does an experience of Black America, is like at the same time as this historic run by Kamala Harris, by a Black woman, the possibility of a Black woman being the first president in United States history, we also saw a video come out of a Black woman being just absolutely slain unjustly by a police officer in Illinois. This is Sonia Massey. They've been telling us, they were telling us like, hey, prepare. This video is going to be riots. It's going to be, they knew because of what this police officer did. Basically, she's unarmed. She had a pot of water, and so we do want to acknowledge that, obviously I don't want to see the video personally, because that is excessive, but we definitely want to see justice for Sonia Massey. You shared this with us, and this is something that Solange posted. It says Sonia Massey's first words when the police came up to her door was, "Don't hurt me."
Yeah.
She was told, why would we hurt you? You called us.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you do, isn't it?
Right. Minutes later, because she had a pot of water that you asked her to get off the stove, now she's shot. This was an officer who had been in 6 different departments in 4 years. And so he was arrested. We hope that, she gets justice. Did any of you all want to comment on Sonia Massey and what we see happening in regards to her unjust murder?
This isn't that far removed from Breonna Taylor, and
Correct.
we talked about this like how many times. I mean, it happened in Pittsburgh where a Black person has phoned the police to stop a burglary in progress, and the police showed up and killed the Black person from making the call.
Yes.
This is something that's all too often in America, and our experiences with law enforcement, often than not, tend to be lethal. Whether we're the people who are victimized by law enforcement, whether we're the people who are prosecuted and persecuted by law enforcement, it always tends to end up in the same way. And the statistic of 4 Black people being murdered every day by law enforcement only increases. And this is proof evident of the distrust of it in the black community, it's so bad that, even Joe Biden in his, limited capacity issued a statement against this officer and, the treatment of black women specifically at the hands of law enforcement. So
right.
And then now with Kamala coming into the role as the Democratic nominee as president, this gives us a little bit more gravity. Right.
And she also spoke on it and said Sonia Massey deserves to be safe. Those were the comments. I don't know if we're here. Any comments from Trump or Vance or any of them. This deputy, Sean Grayson, also, I think it's important to note that not only did he shoot her 3 times after he said he was going to shoot her, but also did not administer any first aid and tried to prevent his partner from administering first aid.
God damn.
And the partner ended up doing it as well. Then they said that I guess he got on the radio and said that her wound was self-inflicted. So they tried to lie and say, and that was what Sonia Massey's family said, that the police actually told her or them initially that she killed herself.
Did she even have a gun in the house?
No.
So how was she going to shoot herself?
I don't think so. I don't know if she had a gun in the house. She didn't have a gun on her
person. Yeah.
Right. So she calls 911. They're in her house. They're talking to her. And this is something that we have been talking about, that when police show up for a reason and that reason has been closed out, they need to leave.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's her house.
Yeah.
She's there. There's no intruder.
Yes.
You give her your card. You say, have a good day. If you see something else, we'll come
why
back.
are you even in our house?
Why was
she thought there was an intruder. Now,
Okay.
She also had mental health issues, right? And we have to remember that over a third of people killed by the police, not only are they usually people of color, they're people who have mental health issues, people who are disabled.
Yeah.
Right. So knowing that, once the conversation is done, you leave.
Yep.
But instead, they're talking to her. They're asking for her ID. She's kind of a little discombobulated, but still lucid.
Yes.
If that makes sense, right?
Yes.
They tell her to turn off the water or do something with the water because it's boiling on the stove. She walks over, messes with the water, is walking to the sink with the thing. She's not coming at them aggressively.
No, absolutely
She's
not.
slowly moving. And even if she were to lunge the water at them, they're on the other side of the counter where they could literally just jump back. Right. So the argument that this water was a threat to them and their safety is
crazy.
not even true.
Absolutely
because
crazy.
not only do they shoot her, they come closer to her after they shoot her to make sure she's down.
Right.
And the guy said it's a headshot.
Yes.
That's part of the conversation is he's telling the people, his partner, don't get the medical thing. She's gone. It's a headshot. Like, why would you head shoot her for a pot of water?
Yeah, you're supposed to shoot
Even
center
if you thought it was going to be a 3rd-degree burn, you were just taking 2 steps back.
Yes.
Like, so it was a shoot to kill situation. Then it's being like, okay, well, she's going to be gone, so don't even worry about doing a kit. And then had to be like, look at the water. The water could have gotten to us. The water's all the way over here. And it's like, yeah, the water's over there because she dropped it with sudden force on the ground and it spilled on the ground.
Right.
It made absolutely, the video doesn't even make sense.
No.
And even him talking to her, it doesn't make sense the way he escalates the situation.
Absolutely.
And so it is the fact that she should be here.
Yes.
It is the fact that so much of the Biden administration was like, cops need more guns. I mean, more money, more funding, more funding. This training is not working. We need to train policing.
No.
Policing doesn't need more money and more funding. We need more mental health support, more social workers, more Medicare for all, and a different way to engage people living with disabilities, people living with mental health issues that don't include state violence.
Right.
But Sonia should still be here. Her family should not have been lied to.
Yes.
And this man who apparently had multiple DUIs and other things on his jacket should not have even been a police officer in the first place. And this is something that we are really going to have to reckon with as a society. How much of violence are we willing to put up with, and how much violence are we willing to support? Because Sonia should be here. Every person, who's been murdered by police, whether it's here in Allegheny County or in Illinois or wherever, should still be here. And we should have a different procedure and process when engaging not only people who are calling the police for help, but people who are being arrested or people who are threatened or suspected of threatening or harming other people or themselves. We need a different procedure, a different process, and hopefully we can finally breathe and just create and imagine a different and better world.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Like you said, it was the officer, Sean Grayson, who killed her, who said, pointed out the pot on the stove and said, we don't need a fire while we're here, leading her to do this. Again, like, bro, you can leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so this whole, you really shouldn't be here in the first place. Trouble, did you have any comments?
Yeah, first I want to say, may she rest in peace, Sonia Massey. Secondly, I hope that this helps people to understand why we say defund the police.
Yes.
And why we're going to continue to say defund the police, because we can't even call them for help.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, imagine living in a country where even if you're the one who called 911, the odds of you dying are fairly high.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can get criminalized for needing help from the same people we've been calling to defund for years now.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just hope that this puts things into perspective. Like, we are not safe when it comes to police presence, whether we're the caller, whether we're the person the police are being called on. You know what I'm saying? And even if we just have random run-ins with the cops, or even if it's just a simple traffic stop.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what the instance is, when we come in contact with police, we are not safe. And that is why we call to defund them.
And it's really that piece of like, now, it was like a list of like things black people can't do, right? Can't run, can't, it's like, we have this, your shoe, right? The concrete. Now it's like
Can't even boil water.
A pot of water. So now literally, like, you see a pot of water in the hands of this, a small woman, as like, that's a threat to your life. So much so that you're shooting somebody in the face over a pot of water. I mean, again, like, obviously there's an issue. If you've been in 6 different departments in 4 years, there's an issue. You know what I'm saying? That's another piece around like, who are you hiring? What is the process? Now, hopefully, the officer has pleaded not guilty, but the officer was arrested and indicted. And again, like, the officer also lied and said, like, why would you try to say the wound was self-inflicted?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you knew.
Self-inflicted head wound at that.
Right.
Like,
You
the
knew.
ballistics is not going to point to that.
Right. But I mean, it's like, why do you say that? Because you know that you were in the wrong. That's why you say that, because you're in the wrong. So with that being said, I mean, again, we stand with the family of Sonia Massey. We hope that she gets justice. It's a shame that, it's like we're subjected to another video again. So it's like, it's like the best of times and worst of times. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we have a black woman, aspiring to an historic office, while at the same time we have a black woman shot down for absolutely no reason by the police. And it's like, this is the America that we unfortunately live in. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reality that we face as black people, and why we do the work that we do at One Hood, where we do the civic engagement work, and we also do the justice work for our community, in terms of doing the work of reimagining public safety and what it could be to make it safe for all of us, which is also some of the work we do here at One Hood. If you want to support us, you have our white pages.
Yes, our white pages. And as Jasiri just said, we do a lot in these spaces, and a lot of what we do is around narrative and telling the stories that don't get told. And, this reclamation of narrative is important. So our book today is Out of the Sun, on race and storytelling, by Essie Edugen. I don't know. I'm butchering the surname, and I usually don't, so I apologize in advance. But this sensitive exploration of racialized people brings ghosts of erased lives out of the shadows and lays them on top of one another in a double exposure of how othering functions in our lives. It performs a kind of haunting, throwing tender light on fictions that divide us. This is the book of Out of the Sun, of Race, or On Race and Storytelling, which is our white pages for today.
And that's why I slid it to you, because I saw that name. And I said, well, I know I'm going to butcher this. Let me give it to Farouk. And maybe
Essie Edugian.
Okay, come on. There you go. There you go.
Had to conjugate the verb.
Come on, there you go. And we do have a brief blackmail. Jeff Guerin, I watch you all every week on Free Speech TV. So the thing is, hello, love the show.
Okay.
All right. I watch you all every week on Free Speech TV. Love Miracle.
Of course you do.
Of course.
As you should.
Parentheses, you all are great.
Miracle and them other niggas is great. That's what the show should be called. Miracle and them other niggas.
Thanks.
Miracle, parentheses. Yeah, y'all all right. I mean, the rest of y'all okay too. It says, will you guys be selling One Hood merchandise in the form of hats? Okay, because we do wear hats on the show. You see, 3 of us got the hats on.
I actually was going to wear my One Hood hat, but then I switched out this one at the last minute.
That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Right, because if you wore it, obviously people going to buy it because you're Miracle.
Yeah.
And a man
Right.
I got a big head, so we have to get special hats.
So we do have beanies right now, Jeff. We do have
What the
beanies.
hell? Why would you say that?
Wait, what did he say?
Uh-oh.
What did he say?
She said, I got a big head. I said, you do got a big ass head.
Oh, yeah. Come on, bro. Relax.
That's where all the thoughts come from. There's so many thoughts in
I say
there.
it.
So many thoughts. So we do have beanies, right? So we have One Hood beanies, classics. We have a RBG, which is a red, black, and green beanie. So we do have beanies. So maybe we can get some hats. You know what I'm saying? He says specifically the 5950 hats or something similar.
Like this, yeah.
So we'll look into getting some base. We made some limited edition for the crew, One Hood and One Hood Power baseball hats. So maybe we'll bring some of those hats back. But if you're looking for One Hood merchandise, go to onehood.org. And that's the number onehood.org and go under new merchandise. You can support all of our merchandise and hopefully we'll have some hats. So shout out to Jeff. Thank you. Shout out to Free Speech TV and, all those folks watching us on there. And with that being said, final words.
He is really rude.
Oh, are you talking about Farouk? Okay.
He's just really rude.
I thought you
for
wanted
no
to
reason.
just a little bit of glow. I told you so. A little bit of
I love being right, but I feel like it's 2 weeks in a row. Could have been a little bit much, So I would just say I'm just hopeful. I'm hopeful for our futures, and I feel like all of us, again, we live in a globe. There's nobody who's disposable. We all have to work together. We all have to live together, be on this planet together. So I'm hopeful that we can just live in peace and harmony and liberation, and just understand that we all have a right to be here, and we all are going to be here. So you might as well just work together and just have a better world.
A better world is possible. Travel.
If you're in the Pittsburgh area on Saturday in the morning, if you're participating in Open Streets,
yes,
we will see you.
Yes, Open Streets this Saturday. Shout out to Bike PGH. And
1/4 of all the mammals in the world are bats.
all right, with that being said, we will see you all next week. It's been This Week in White Supremacy. Peace, y'all. And we okay, we see you next week, but can we maybe not have like a earth-changing event
He said
between now and then? Can we just maybe
no more unprecedented
just a
time.
regular week, maybe? You know what I'm saying? Like, with that being said, peace. One Hood, y'all.